We got another great episode of Young Justice, so let's dive into episode 6, spoiler-free review, and talk about what's happened with Artemis, Jade, and the whole clan of League of Assassins that seem to have defected. In this week's episode entitled, Artemis Through the Looking Glass. Now before we dive into the review, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the big giveaway. We got a PlayStation 5 to give away at 25,000 subscribers. All you need to do to get in on the giveaway is be a subscriber and leave us a comment. Also, while you're at it, try to keep developing those superhero skills. Check out our free trial of Skillshare down below. It's a great way to make yourself a better detective, hacker, or just all-around human being, all for almost zero money out of pocket. We really appreciate it. Well, this week's episode, the fourth in season 6, entitled Artemis Through the Looking Glass, continues the second story arc focused on Artemis and the League of Assassins. Now again, this will be a spoiler-free review, so we're not going to dive into heavy details recapping the episode. Let's just talk a little bit about it and how we liked what was going on. I did find this episode awfully enjoyable. Now, a big part of this season is character focused, and there was a ton of character development, not just for Artemis, but also for Jade, who are both season 1 members of the show. Their interactions are solid and really continue the story that gives a lot of depth of their past and the pain both characters carry together. The flashbacks and history of both characters being explored really does give a ton of depth to their relationship. They have always had that angry sister vibe to them, but their real story gives us a laundry list of reasons why both people feel the way they do and the damage done to both of them by their father. We also get the big reveal this week of who the boyfriend is for Artemis. We just did a video on that down below, but if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. Check out the link. He has a pretty interesting DC history. Oh, we also find out the name of his little dog too. Now, we actually do learn a lot this week about both Onyx and Cassandra Cain, and really the workings of the League of Shadows. The mystery of the two prisoners is fairly deeply explored, as well as somewhat of an epidemic of defected League members. I really had no idea how many members of the League of Assassins had actually defected, and it's higher than most people think. One of the highlights, though, is the interactions of Tigress's team. Now, while I'm avoiding spoilers, we all know that Orphan and Arrowette and several other people are part of Tigress's team, and we get a ton of them in this episode. Particularly, we get to know Orphan a good bit more. Well, as much as you can without a character speaking, but she does get fleshed out a lot more, and by the end of the episode, if you're unaware of her background, you will be now. We also get some processing of the grief experienced by team members due to the death of Connor with Gar in this episode. Not a lot, but clearly he is struggling, and I did notice 0 references to Miss Martian. I'm sure she's absolutely devastated, but I am now wondering where exactly she is and what she's doing. And the big question to me would be there, did she actually stay on Mars, or did she come back to Earth? The standout for this week, though, was the action. The big action sequence towards the middle of the episode was really good. The only thing better than the villains in this action sequences is the banter from all the baddies. Honestly, this was my favorite part of the episode, and it could have probably continued for the whole 30 minutes. We also get a couple of bad guys we haven't seen in forever, and another major relationship reveal. Now, comic fans knew this reveal, but it could be another big phantom from someone's past. Family makes the worst of them, and we've talked a little bit how phantoms could really be referring to relationships, and more of that appears to be the case. One of the interesting things in this episode, though, was Josh Keaton, who voiced Marvel's Spider-Man, voicing a very, very similar character in this episode. He was truly my favorite part, and it was masterful. I also found this episode a little more adulty in tone. Some of the language, the jokes, and the gags are clearly aimed at us big kids, and that was awesome. I'm still avoiding spoilers, but I have to say this is where Josh Keaton shines. With so many new characters this week, we got a big expansion of the voice cast, and as always with this show, everybody is hitting a home run. The action was fast-paced, and the animation kept up with that really, really well. It really was another good episode. And quite honestly, this secondary storyline, I am enjoying a little bit more than the Mars storyline, which I had no problems with. Overall, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. It left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger, and clearly we have 2 more chapters, with this expansion of the Tigress-Jade relationship, as well as exploring the League of Assassins, which is pretty darn cool. Has been a really good time, and I think if you're a fan of the show, you're really going to like this episode. What did you guys think? How did you feel about the 6th episode of Season 4 of Young Justice? And what did you think of the roster of villains that made an appearance in the show? sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not going to get any updates. Peace.